I want to do a whole segment on this French thing.
Okay.
So can we do that?
Sure.
So like, I love that you said that because this is such an important historical moment in our history for Ukraine to be invaded, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the first this is going to be like the first new modern war. Like we see the way the Ukrainians are fighting. They're taping bombs to drones. They're flying the drones next to Russians and then blowing it up. They're using jet skis to hit ships. They're doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Only Ukraine and Russia are going to be learning from this experience. Those are the only two armies that are going to be learning, right? The West, well, now the United States too, because I feel like we've done a lot there. But the rest of the West needs to integrate with the Ukrainian armed forces, not militarily and put troops on the front lines. No. But just as advisors and observers to learn what war will look like in the next decade. That is like that was like Europeans coming to America to watch our Civil War, or Europeans going over to Asia to watch the Russo-Japanese War,
or Revolutionary War here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these nations learn from these experiences.
I'd like to think that they don't need to do that.
Yeah.
That there's going to be more stability than that. But the world is fracturing. Mm-hmm. So it does seem like the type of thing that will be good to have at least in the coming decades, if not the coming years.
Isn't it interesting how France has really become the leader of Europe? I feel like I feel like throughout my whole life, it's always been Germany was the clear leader of Europe.
I think right now they're vying for it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think France is there, but they've come up and it's about even. The thing is, if you don't know, Germany still has about 15, 17 million more people than France. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Bigger economy. But France's demographic picture looks a lot better. Their future probably looks a lot more solid.
Right. They were better demographics. They were better energy infrastructure.
Energy security.
Better military.
Yeah. Probably better geography, just as far as being further from Russia.
Yeah. Their own nuclear arsenal. They have their own nukes.
Yeah.
Germany's relying on French and American nukes.
Yeah. So we'll see.
No, I just think I think I'm in support of France sending troops to the Belarusian border.
Okay.
And because like what I've heard people suggest is if France sends troops to the Belarusian border, the Ukrainians can hop off the Belarusian border and go fight to try to take Mariupol back. And so like if they could leave that guard duty of the Ukrainians in the north, that gives the Ukrainians more manpower to.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that as well, but I think it might be too risky. Too much pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to come with the exception of if a French troop gets killed in Ukraine, does that trigger Article 5? And like Macron would have to go into it saying it does not trigger Article 5.
Yeah.
Right. Macron would have to say this does not trigger Article 5. It's not a direct attack on the French people or a French state, like or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets too iffy.
It gets
hazy.
To
me. Yeah.
I just think Macron has a big pair of balls saying something like that so strongly.
Yeah.
I think it's something.
I guess balls, but do you think it's smart?
Do I think it's smart?
Because instantly Germany responded and they were like, no, we're absolutely not going to send NATO forces into Ukraine.
I think it's smart for the political ambiguity.
Really?
Yes, because like what's like the American situation, right? You don't agree?
I don't think so, because a united NATO is the most powerful asset.
Okay, but
security-wise.
What if? So like, wait, I want to talk about the Taiwan thing. So like America does strategic ambiguity for Taiwan. Joe Biden will say, we'll defend Taiwan. His State Department says, we're not going to defend Taiwan. Then the next day he says, no, we are going to defend Taiwan. The State Department's like, no way. We're not going to support Taiwan. Then we send them a bunch of missiles, right? Mm-hmm. So like there's an advantage of that strategic ambiguity.
I think
you don't think it comes with
I think there's a clear difference where Ukraine's already been invaded. Mm-hmm. I think we were posturing with strategic ambiguity regarding Ukraine before the invasion as well, and I think that made sense. Now that Russian troops are in Ukraine, any NATO involvement actually in the country puts us at serious risk for Russian escalation. Okay. The reason that the U.S. is keeping ambiguity is because anything less would raise the chance of Chinese escalation. Anything more would raise the chance of Chinese escalation. So I think strategic ambiguity not only allows us the most flexibility with what our response might be, but it also makes sure it's the best chance at maintaining stability in the situation right now. I think French involvement or any NATO involvement in Ukraine does the opposite of
Right.
maintaining stability.
Right. No, it definitely increases tensions.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I agree.